Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So this is quite a bright, springy, I don't know, I know it's kind of summer now. I love green, as you probably already know. So I want to do quite a green look, add a bit of yellow in, a lemon and lime, like a nice lemonade drink. That's what I was thinking in the hot weather. Not that it's really hot here, unless it is, because I'm kind of filming this in advance, but yeah, it probably is the day that this goes up, maybe. I don't know, it's Ireland, so who knows, could be snowing. Yeah, so if you want to see how to get this bright, fun, summery look, then keep on watching. Okay, so as you can probably see, I've got my foundation on, I got my brows on, and I've already primed my eyes using the 24-hour, no, not 24-hour, Too Faced Shadow Insurance. Because I've been using 24-hour for so long, I decided to use Too Faced today because it is still my favourite primer. I still love the texture of it on the eye. So let's get into the colours. So these are the colour scheme we're going for here, all the greens and yellows. The first colour that I'm going to take is this green one here, the limey green. And we're going to work on the crease first. This is Inglot shade in 59. So it's just a lime green, almost yellow. It's so limey, but it's more green. Because we will be doing yellow in a few minutes. But I'm taking that on an Inglot 6 SS brush, and we are just going to buff that into the crease. And we are going to do a cut crease, so I never really do cut creases that often, but I felt like it for this one because the colours are quite, I won't say monochrome because there's yellow, but like slightly monochrome. It can look a bit monochrome, so I want to do a cut crease just to give a bit extra drama. And I'm bringing this right in here, so when we cut the crease you still have a little haze of colour around it. It helps to emphasize the cut crease. Okay, so once we have that nicely blended into the crease, I'm going to take a MAC 217 and the shade 331 from Inglot, which is just like a standard green, leaning on the emerald side, but it's quite a normal mid-tone green. It's a matte finish, so we're just going to load that up onto one side of the brush, so just the one side. You don't need to coat the whole brush when you're doing these sorts of looks. And we're just going to start out here where we want it to be the darkest. And I'm flipping my brush so the cleaner side is on the bottom and bringing that into the crease. And also bring it all the way along here. Again, the more colour you have here, the more emphasised the cut crease is going to be. And then we're just going to start blending with whatever's left on the brush. And then going back in with my 6SS brush I took up a little bit more of that green, the lime green on it. And I'm just very softly, just using the very edge of the brush to blend out the edge of that darker green. Okay, so I just want to work on a little bit of the lower lash line, just the outer part with the greens basically. So I'm taking a 214 brush from MAC and I'm taking that same 331 green, the darker green, and I'm just applying this to the outer third of the lower lash line. Remember, we do have to leave space for a yellow and a white on the inside, so that's the way, that's as far as we're going to bring it in. And then once we have that on, let me just clean my little brushy. I'm going to take on the same brush the shade 59, 58, whichever one it is, I'm not sure. The lime green, that one. And we are going to just smudge that along the edge of that first green there. Okay, moving on to darken this whole look. So we are going to go in with the shade 340. I still want it to be bright green, but I do want a little bit more depth out here and slightly into the crease. Again, always just to emphasize the cut crease a little bit more. So I'm taking it's an e.l.f. something brush, e.l.f. crease brush it's just called. It's just a little smudgy brush, and I'm just taking that and just applying that to the outer corner first. This dark green has a little bit of a blue undertone, so I don't want to go crazy with it. But you can see straight away, it instantly gives a bit more shadow. And then we're just going to pull that inwards. Bring it right along, but we're just tapering it off as it goes in. and just build that up. And then I'm going to go back in with my 217. I'm not going to pick up any more colour from that mid-tone green. I'm just going to use whatever's left to blend and soften that out, just so there's no jaggy bits. I get a lot of skipping in here. It's the way my eye is shaped. It always happens with any colour I use, especially that has a strong pigment. It tends to do that. So I just like to give it a little blend over, especially in there, and yeah, just make sure it's nice and soft. And if you blend too much away, you can always add more, but I'm quite happy with how dark that is right now because I can still see it's a bright green. I'm going to take that same 340 shade and on my 214 again, and just taking that in this little part right there. So I'm not even bringing it in as far as where the other green is, just where the beginning of my lower lash line is, basically the width of the brush. That's as far as I'm going. And just make sure it connects out here. Then go back in with your 217 and just make sure that blends into the green. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the cut crease part. So this is the bit where you want to take it slowly, you know, usual. Most people can just do a cut crease in seconds. I don't, because I don't do cut creases a lot. I'm going to use MAC Select Cover Up Concealer because that's what I have beside me. That will stay. Prolonger concealer will work. Any kind of thicker concealer will work for this. This is discontinued, but I do have a full tube of it, so I just want to use it. But I will be using other concealers later on. You'll see I'm going to be using like 3 different concealers today. Just put a little bit out on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take an e.l.f. concealer brush. It's a flat synthetic brush, and I'm going to really load up one side, just one side, but really load it up. Don't be afraid of the concealer. Never fear. And what we're going to do is, can I zoom you in a bit more? Yeah, there we go. What we're going to do is start in here on the inner corner and start slightly lower than what you think you want to go, just so you have room to bring it up if you need to. You don't want to start too high and then you're like, oh my god, no, it's too high. So you just want to, I use patting motion. Some people do it in one swipe. Depends on what you're more comfortable with. And you just kind of, how to describe it, using the very edge of the brush, and then you're going to feather it down. So you're using the brush as your edge, as the barrier, and then you're going to bring it down onto the lid. This will also help the colours you put on later on stand out a little bit more. Make sure it naturally follows your eye. So if your eye is quite rounded like mine, make sure it's nice and rounded. If your eye is a little bit more flatter, make sure it's a little bit more flat and long. It should look like your crease, unless you're trying to actually change your crease, which you can do as well. That's up to yourself. Okay, so I'm happy with that shape right now. So what I'm going to do is take my finger just where these two meet. Don't worry too much because it will blend once we put the other shades on, but just to slightly blur the edge a little bit. So we are going to move on to the yellow. This is 474 from Inglot. It's a bright lemony yellow, and I'm taking that on a flat brush. Let me get my flat brush. This guy here, and this one is not clean. Okay. So I gave it a little clean. And this is going to go right in the center of the lid, all the way up and right up to the crease. And we're just pressing this into the concealer so it really, really stands out. We really want this to be the main focus of the look. But I'm leaving the inner third alone, leaving that for where I'm going to apply white. Bring it right out to the end of where the concealer is. It's even an entire yellow section. And then I'm going to take the lime green, so the very first green that we used, on my 217. So it still has a little bit of the dark green on, which I don't mind, but I'm just going to start slowly blending just by wiggling back and forward where they meet. By using the lime green, it's already got a yellow in it, so it helps it blend so much quicker. And then because the other green is on the brush, it also brings a little bit of that in. Okay, so we've got our yellow nice and blended. I can reblend a few bits if I need to, but I'm happy enough with how that looks for now. I'm going to take my white, which is the 373 shade from MAC, not from MAC, from Inglot. You can see I like this colour a lot. I've hit pan. Very rare I hit pan on things, but I did actually hit pan on my eyebrow shade today, which is kind of sad, but you know. My eyebrow shade is the only colour, only eyeshadow I've repurchased. Yeah, I'm on my second one over the last like 10 years. So I'm taking this on my sleek little concealer-y sort of style brush. It's also flat, but it's a little bit smaller than what we've been using. And because it's nice and stiff, it's going to really pack that colour on. Now because we got the concealer down, it will take a few layers to bring the white up to really bright. Because it kind of almost merges with the concealer a little bit. So you really need to build that colour up. I find just press the colour on and do your blending afterwards is the easiest way to do it. Just to really get the opacity. And then when you want to blend, same as what we did out here, so just going to slightly overlap a little bit with the yellow. And then go back in with a little bit of yellow on the brush. And overlap backwards. And just keep doing that until you're happy. Okay, so now we've got all the upper part done, bar highlighting and stuff like that, but I'll do that in a few minutes. I am going to work on my lower lash line. So as you can probably guess, I'm going to do yellow in the center and white on the inner corner. So I'm going to start with the yellow. Just move inwards like that. This is a Real Techniques accent brush. It's a really teeny weeny little brush. And we're just going to pop that right next to the green. You may not get as stark a contrast as we have up here because it's not as much room. So, well, some people have a lot of room down here. I have a good bit of room, but just not the most. And just make sure that you're going back in and making sure it overlaps nicely with the green so you can see the difference. Okay, so I decided I wanted to use the white as my inner corner highlight as well. So before I do the white underneath, I'm actually going to go in with my under eye concealer, and I'm going to do that off camera so it doesn't bore you guys because it'll take a few minutes. And yeah, I'll come back once I have that done and we're ready to finish the eyes off. Okay, so now that we've got the inner corner done, I'm going to take the same matte white. It's quite a matte look that I'm going for. There is a little bit of shimmer because some of the shades have like a micro shimmer, like the yellow and the lime green have got like a micro shimmer in them, but overall I'm not really going for anything shimmery. I might add a little bit of glitter like on the inner corner, maybe, probably not, though I kind of like how this is looking. But I'm going to take the matte white again. I'm taking that on a wide flat brush, and it's quite flat, and we're just going to start on the very arch of the brow where we want it to be the brightest. I'm just going to bring that along here. And then along the tail. And this is gonna, one, highlight, which is what we want. We want to bring a little bit more height to the brow. But it's also gonna help soften any edges that are a little bit weird or just not blending the way you want to. So I'm bringing it along here as well to help it soften. Okay, so I'm finished with shadow for now. I might add more, we'll see, I probably won't though. I'm going to go in with my liner. I'm just using the Inglot 77 Black. I'm going to mix a little bit of Duraline into it to, you know, loosen it up a little bit. And I'm going to do this off camera because I have a tendency to go out of frame and then there's just no point in me even showing you guys. So I'm just going to do a liner. You'll see what it looks like when it comes back, so hopefully it turns out okay. Nice winged liner. We want it to be nice and winged out. And yeah, back in a sec. Okay, so we are all linered up. And I'm going to take Urban Decay's Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Freak, which is a slightly limey green as well, and we're going to pop that into the waterline. I did go for quite a dramatic liner. It kind of just went like that. Sometimes that's just how liner goes, so just kind of continued to go with it. But yeah, we're going to pop this onto the waterline. You could do black obviously, but I thought I want to keep it nice and bright and have just the liner as the starkness of the eye, and then keep the bottom nice and bright. And then to finish off before we put lashes on, but you could just finish it here, I'm going to take my Soap and Glory Thick and Fast mascara, and we're just going to pop that on the top and bottom lashes. I would recommend putting a good bit of mascara on if you're going to do this sort of look, just so you can really see your lashes, especially if your liner goes out of hand like mine. But particularly lower lashes, just to give you that definition that we're not getting from using black on the bottom. But yeah, we're just going to pop that on to the lashes. Okay, so this is how the eyes would look without any lashes on. Like I said, on your bottom, do a good bit of mascara just so you can really see your lashes and give you the definition on the bottom. But I am going to pop some lashes on. I am going to go for, I think, these guys. It's a multi-pack of the same lash. These are by Kiss. These are Look So Natural. Yeah, KFLMO4. I don't know. They look like that anyway, so they're really, really nice and fluffy, but very soft. So I'm going to pop these on off camera once my mascara has dried. I'm out of focus. Why? Go. And yeah, I'll be back in a sec to finish off the actual face itself. Okay, so you are zoomed out a little bit. I'm going to work on my skin. So let me just grab my thingy. Okay, so I'm going to use the Benefit Cheek Parade. I know they have a palette out right now which has very similar colours in it. It's nothing limited edition that I'm using. I just have it in a palette together, so I was like, why not? What I'm going to start off with is the Hoola Lite bronzer. Maybe a little bit of the actual Hoola, but mainly the Hoola Lite bronzer. And I'm going to use a 137 brush from MAC. It's a very long floppy brush, so it doesn't apply too much bronzer at once. It's really, really nice. So we're going to take the Hoola Light first and we'll work up to the normal Hoola. And I'm applying this kind of where I would contour, but bringing it up onto the cheeks. So I'm not like lining here, I'm kind of starting there and then bringing it up and then bringing it into the temple a little bit. This is like the perfect bronzer if you are pale. Because I know bronzer can be very hard to do when you're pale. For years I never wore bronzer because I thought, I'm too pale, I don't go brown, I go pink, so I was always better off with blusher. But then I found this and I love it. So I'm just taking whatever's left of my powder brush, and because I powdered off camera, and I'm just going over the edges mainly and a little bit over top of the bronzer. So this is called veiling. It's basically putting a veil of powder over top of your bronzer or your blusher, and it actually helps it look like it's more under the skin, so it looks like it's in the skin. I tend to just do it with bronzer and contour and stuff like that. I don't really do it with blusher because I like my blusher to stand out a little bit. I'm a blush gal. But yeah, that's a really cool trick. If you're pale or you feel like your blusher or bronzer has gone a bit too heavy, you can always do that. Then I'm going to take my Dandelion, which is the pale pink. I love a baby pink with green on the eyes. I think it looks so cool. Because they're contrasting, but they're not so contrasting that it looks odd. You know what I mean? Like, because it's a soft pink. It's not super bright or anything like that. I'm just going to pop that onto my cheeks. I'm blending it back into the bronzer so you have a nice blend forward. You don't have too much of a harsh line. But already a bit of blusher makes me look so much better. Okay, so for highlight I'm going to use a bit of a concoction. I'm going to take, this is the Huda Beauty Winter Highlight Palette. And I'm going to take the shade Northern Lights, which is this yellowy sort of tone. It's very yellow. And I'm going to take that on. This is a Luxie medium fan brush. Just taking a little bit of that and sweeping it across the cheek. I'm using this colour because I want to tie in with the yellows that are on the lid. But you'll see in a sec, this is very yellow on me. So yeah, I'm going to go in with something a little bit brighter just to help it look more highlighty. It's very hard for me to wear some coloured highlighters without them looking too dark. So I like this on the cheek to give that nice sheen of yellow, like the colour of yellow across the cheek. And then I'm going to go in just to brighten it, and this is going to be really bright as well. I'm taking the Inglot Sparkling Dust Face, Eyes and Body. This is in the shade 07. It's a loose, very shiny highlighter. And I'm just going to take whatever's left in the lid, and I'm just going to take a teeny weeny little dab just to coat the very top bristles. And we're just going to pop that mainly on the high point, just there, and dust it along. So this is more of a neutral tone. It's not really pink, it's more like just a nude kind of highlighter. And this will knock back a little bit the yellow so it's not too much and give me like uber shine. Okay, so moving on to our lips, I'm going to take, this is the MAC Lip Tensity Lip Pencil in the shade Pressed Blooms, which is a soft rose shade. Comes up kind of strong on me, but I'm going to put a nuder shade on top, so I'm not too bothered about it. And I'm just going to line the lips. Obviously, it's very hard to do this while talking, so just watch what I'm doing. So it's quite strong, as you can see. I don't know if it shows up like this on everyone, but it shows up quite rosy on me. So next I'm going to take the shade Pretty Natural from MAC. I'm not sure if this is limited edition or not, because I don't know if you can get this anymore. But it's just a nude. It's very like MAC's Modesty, so if you have that, it's the same thing. And I'm just going to apply that all over. Just to tone it back a little bit. And then to top it all off, I'm going to use this Kiko Super Gloss in the shade 112. It's just a nude, very sparkly colour. And pot that all over. I'm actually going to scoop it out and use it from my finger because I don't want to get this colour into the actual container. I hate when that happens. So I always almost do my gloss like this all the time. Alrighty guys, so this is your finished look. I just kind of tied my hair up. It's kind of greasy, you know. Throw it in a ponytail, looks like you intended on it to look like this, but you didn't. Yeah, so this is your look. This is the bright look. It's kind of slightly more in-depth way of me explaining how to do a cut crease, or how I do a cut crease anyway. Even though this is not how I learned how to do a cut crease. I might do a video where I actually show you how I did a cut crease, like years ago before the easy technique came in. It was a lot harder. We made our lives very hard. This is like the smart way to do it now. So yeah, I hope you got a little bit of something out of it. It kind of just to explain exactly why certain things happen, because I feel like a lot of people don't actually explain in detail certain things when they're doing their makeup, and it's quite necessary to know. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the look. If you did, give me a big thumbs up below. Let me know in the comments what you think of this look, and hit subscribe to see more fun bright tutorials. You guys are not prepared for the colours that you're about to see coming up on my channel, so just stay tuned. I also have, well, a few weeks ago, you'll probably notice this in my more recent videos, that I have set up a new Twitter account. So if you want to follow me and know when things are going up, now's your time to do that. And yeah, you'll see, I'll kind of give a heads up when I'm about to upload a video, and if not, don't get mad at me because I can forget sometimes. But yeah, it'll just be like little updates as to what I'm doing, or if there's anything that I'm kind of interested in, I will post it on there. And yeah, my Instagram and my Facebook page, even though I don't really post on that anymore, I might get rid of that. My Instagram is definitely down there anyway, and I'll always be posting on that. When these looks go up, the pictures, the up close pictures will go up so you can see more in detail as to what I have. And there will be a full list of products listed down below. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video guys. Bye!